By all means, Tatsu Prime came with a great set of stats, good critical, great status potential, almost the highest range, good amount of slash, good attack speed. Even solid passive ability of sending souls on slide attack, which stun enemies and open them to finisher. Even do good damage with certain builds. Everything's good, right? I tried multiple builds, from casual build that's made for quick missions, or the build that's focusing on combo, then heavy attack, and ultimately I messed around with Valkyrie and my insane melee focused build that I got on her. Weapon can benefit from both Blood Rush and Weeping Wounds. Having innate radiation alongside all three physical damage types is really good for condition overload. Slash is quite high, and with a slash mod and using low rank elemental mods, you can make that bleeding dominant. With the proper ribbon that saves some slots, we could even fit viral plus heat, which sounds really good. Except one teeny weeny little thing. It's the stance. Wise Razor. I honestly think it's fine to have these clunky stances in the game and make them obtainable early on, but this is not a stance worthy of a top tier weapon, which I think Tatsu Prime could be, but it needs a better stance and more fluid movement. Issues with this stance are everywhere really. For one, it's not even a complete stance with 4 unique attacks, it only has 3. That would not be much of a problem if those 3 were alright, but I honestly can't say that. Swings have a lot of verticality to them, which makes that high range of the weapon feel more like it's like a half of what it actually is. You just end up missing enemies way too easily. Which you really notice once you swing your heavy attack, and it's actually an effective horizontal swing that catches more enemies. On top of that, a lot of attacks begin with rather slow swings back and wind-ups before the actual attack, which really interrupts the flow. Many weapons with far lower range feel better than this because movement allows you to do more. Damage multipliers on hits feel like they are in a weird spot. It's not as strong of a hit as it usually is for such a slow weapon with heavy swings, but it also doesn't even have a not even above average DPS for combos. It's a weird middle ground, and when combined with weird movement it really adds up. Forward momentum of the stance is clunky at best, and even the blocking plus moving combo has a weird leap forward that I just can't see being all that great compared to most other weapon classes. About a year ago, a new stance for heavy Nikanas was teased, and in my mind it made sense that they would release it if not before Remnant Primaxes, then for sure it has to drop with it. But no words of it since. Probably launched its souls into Soulframe. And all that made this launch a bit underwhelming for me. I guess the lesson of the day is not to have expectations. But I'm a huge fan of Pennant's heavy build, even though I find it extremely one-dimensional. So I kinda hoped Tatsu Prime wouldn't be like that. But it turns out that's probably the best way to make use of this until DE decides to bless us with another stance. I don't know, I guess DE tried to distinct heavy Nikanas from actual Nikanas, but out of top 15 melee weapons used last year, 3 of them are Nikanas. Because they're fluid, and people like that obviously. So it's kinda weird that you make a stance that's a complete opposite. If you like the stance, then more power to you. But if a weapon with these stats had an effective stance, like Crushing Ruin or Blind Justice, then it would automatically be one of the best melee weapons in the game. To be fair, this ends up being a decent weapon. If you focus your build around it, to buff it a bit, maybe use Warcry or Arcane Strike to free up a melee slot to get some juicy combinations going for a hybrid build to do 12x heavy attacks. You know, that can deliver some goods for sure. As for me, after doing a couple of forma so I could fit a couple of different builds on there and try it, Tatsu Prime will sadly sit in my inventory waiting for that new stance, hoping for better days ahead. Thank you for watching, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.